control of gene expression, its principles. Hello students, in this episode we will discuss various mechanisms involved in control of gene expression in prokaryotes and eukaryotes cells. In multicellular plants and animals, gene expression is under elaborate control, whereas in the single-celled bacterium, it can be as simple as switching on and off of gene to make the enzymes needed to digest whatever food sources are available. There are hundreds of different types of cells that carry out a range of specialized functions that depend upon genes that are only switched on in that cell type. For example, the beta cells of the pancreas makes the hormone insulin, and the alpha cells of the pancreas make hormone glucagon. Another example includes the beta lymphocytes of immune system are the only cells in the body which makes antibodies and fights the antigen. Similarly, red blood cells are the only cells in the body that make the oxygen transport protein hemoglobin. The difference between all these cells is because of the precise control of gene expression. Gene regulation is essential for prokaryotes and eukaryotes as it increases the versatility and adaptability of an organism by allowing the cell to express protein when needed. Classification of gene with respect to their expression. A. Constitutive, that is housekeeping genes. They are expressed at a fixed rate irrespective to the cell condition. Their structure is simpler. B. Controllable genes. They are expressed only as needed. Their amount may increase or decrease with respect to their basal level in different conditions. Their structure is relatively complicated with some response elements. Here, we discuss only control of gene expression at various levels and its principles. 1. Control of gene expression in prokaryotes. Most prokaryotic genes are regulated in units called operons. Operons are gene clusters that encode the proteins necessary to perform coordinated function. In prokaryotes, control of the rate of transcriptional initiation is the predominant site for control of gene expression. Lack operon in E. coli, negative inducible control. E. coli can use lactose as its sole carbon source. Lack operon is an operon required for the transport and metabolism of lactose in E. coli and some other enteric bacteria. The lack operon includes the three genes: beta galactosidase, the LAC-Z gene; galactoside permease, LAC-Y gene; thiogalactoside transacetylase, LAC-A gene. Beta galactosidase cleaves lactose to galactose and glucose. Galactoside permease transports lactose into the cell. Thiogalactoside transacetylase appears to modify toxic galactosides to facilitate their removal from the cell. When E. coli is grown in medium where lactose is added, beta galactosidase, lac permease and transacetylase appear at the same time in cells. After lactose is transported into the cell, some of it is converted to allolactose by the few molecules of beta galactosidase. Allolactose is a rearranged lactose molecule and an inducer of the lac operon. LAC-Z, LAC-Y and LAC-A are coordinately expressed from one promoter called LAC-P that directs expression of a polycistronic mRNA. LAC-P is located upstream of LAC-Z, LAC-I encodes the lactose repressor protein and I located upstream of LAC-P. LAC-I has its own promoter and is constitutively expressed. LAC repressor or LAC-I binds to the DNA at the LAC operator site called the LAC-O. LAC-O is located between LAC-I and LAC-Z. In the absence of inducer, LAC repressor is bound to LAC-O, preventing expression of the operon. In the presence of inducer, inducer binds to LAC repressor and prevents repressor from binding to LAC-O, leading to the transcription of the operon. LAC operon in E. coli, catabolite repression. Lactose and glucose are added to a culture of wild type E. coli cells. The LAC operon is not induced. No LAC mRNA or gene products are made. This effect of glucose is the result of a second regulatory mechanism, catabolite repression. Catabolite repression affects not only LAC gene expression but also other operons that catabolize specific sugars such as galactose, arabinose and maltose. Contrary to its name, catabolite repression describes an activating mechanism involving a complex between cAMP and the catabolite activator protein. If the given choice of sugars to metabolize, E. coli will use glucose first and then other sugars. When levels of glucose are high, there is no need to express high levels of the enzymes needed for the metabolism of lactose or other sugars, which yield less energy than glucose. High levels of intracellular glucose result in low levels of cAMP. Low levels of cAMP mean very few cAMP-CAP complexes. When intracellular levels of glucose drop and other sugars must be metabolized, levels of cAMP increase. Increased cAMP levels means there are more cAMP-CAP complexes. cAMP-CAP binds to a specific site on the DNA that is located adjacent to the promoter for the LAC genes and adjacent to promoters controlling the expression of other sugar metabolizing operons affected by cAMP-CAP. cAMP-CAP bound to the CAP binding site increases the binding of S70 RNA polymerase to the LAC promoter. By having two mechanisms controlling the expression of the LAC operon, cells ensure that the LAC gene products are only made when needed. Tryptophan operon, negative repressible control. Tryptophan is an important amino acid in living system, and in bacteria a complex mechanism is needed in its regulation. TRP operon is an operon in bacteria which promotes the production of tryptophan when tryptophan is not present in the environment. If the amino acid is present, then the operon is repressed and biosynthetic enzymes are not produced. The E. coli TRP operon includes 5 genes for the enzymes required to convert choresmate to tryptophan. These 5 structural genes are TRPE, TRPD, TRPC, TRPB and TRPA, which encode tryptophan synthetase. It also contains a promoter where RNA polymerase binds and a repressor gene which synthesizes a specific protein. This protein binds to the operator, which then causes the transcription to be blocked. It is an example of negative regulation of gene expression. Within the operon's regulatory sequence, the operator is blocked by the repressor protein in the presence of tryptophan and is liberated in tryptophan's absence. When tryptophan is abundant, it binds to the TRP repressor, causing a conformation change that permits the repressor to bind to the TRP operator and inhibit expression of the TRP operon. The TRP operator site overlaps the promoter, so binding of the repressor blocks binding of RNA polymerase. 2. Control of gene expression in eukaryotes. Control of gene expression in eukaryotes is controlled by a variety of mechanisms as followed. 1. control at DNA level by histone modifications, chromatin remodeling. DNA is compacted into chromatin as part of its packaging strategy. This compacted form can affect the ability of transcriptional regulatory proteins and RNA polymerase to find access to specific genes for activation of transcription. Modification of the histones and of CpG methylation most affect accessibility of the chromatin to RNA polymerases and transcription factors. A. Acetylation. Histone are proteins that bind tightly to DNA, and this binding can prevent transcription. A histone is wrapped twice around the nucleosome. They have positive lysine residues on their N-termini and are strongly attracted to DNA because of its highly negative phosphate backbone. If acetyl groups are added to the lysine residues on the histones, the charge is neutralized, which makes it possible for chromatin remodeling protein to nudge the nucleosomes so that the TA-TA box is exposed. With TA-TA box exposed, TA-TA binding factor and transcription factor can bind to it, allowing RNA polymerase to bind to the pre-initiation complex and start transcription. If a histone deacetylase binds, the deacetylase will remove acetyl groups from lysine on the N-termini of histones. This would cause the positive charge of the lysine and the negative charge on the DNA to become strongly attracted to each other, and the histones would bind tightly. This would prevent chromatin remodeling proteins from nudging aside the nucleosome and exposing the TA-TA box. This prevents RNA polymerase II from binding and not allowing other transcription factors to bind, and thus it prevents transcription. B. Methylation. Histone modifications and DNA methylation by HDACs constitute the base of a special mechanism of gene expression control called epigenetic inheritance. Methylation leads to heterochromatin formation, and heterochromatin is the most tightly packed form of DNA which is transcriptionally silent. Methylation occurs most often in symmetrical CG sequences in small percentage of newly synthesized DNA. Methylation prevents the binding of the transcriptional machinery and it's associated with transcriptional silencing. Therefore, transcriptionally inactive genes possess higher levels of methylated DNA than transcriptionally active genes. 2. Control at DNA level by gene amplification. Gene amplification is a process which leads to the production of many copies of the genes located in a specific region of the chromosome. It is used in instances when proteins are needed more rapidly than the chromosomal number would permit. Each copy can be transcribed and translated, leading to an overproduction of the corresponding protein. A. Developmentally regulated amplification of rRNA genes. Amplification of rDNA is driven by the need for massive amounts of ribosomes during embryonic development. In frog oocytes, there is selective amplification of genes encoding ribosomal RNAs. During development of the frog oocyte, the number of copies of DNA encoding ribosomal RNA increases from 900 to up to 2 million. B. c-Myc proto-oncogene amplification. Some genes such as the proto-oncogene c-Myc, a transcriptional factor, have been found to be amplified to many copies within a particular cell, leading to overexpression of the regulatory protein and tumor formation. The mechanism by which extra copies of Myc genes are generated might be the result of over-replication and subsequent amplification by non-homologous exchange. C. Selective amplification of chorion eggshell gene in Drosophila. Programmed activation of DNA replication specifically at the chorion genes, lead to a 64-fold amplification of the genes to enable huge amounts of the proteins to be synthesized. 3. Control at transcription initiation. The most important and primary mode of control of eukaryotic gene expression is at transcription initiation. Transcription of the different classes of RNAs in eukaryotes is carried out by 3 different polymerases, such as RNA polymerase 1 synthesize the rRNA, RNA polymerase 2 synthesize the mRNA and some snRNA. RNA polymerase 3 synthesize the 5S rRNA and the tRNA. The most complex control mechanisms observed in eukaryotic genes are for mRNA. Almost all eukaryotic mRNA genes contain a basic structure which consists of coding exons, non-coding introns, basal promoters of 2 types, and any number of different transcriptional regulatory domains. There are many regulatory sequences in mRNA genes that bind various transcription factors. These regulatory sequences are predominantly located upstream, 5' of the transcription initiation site. Some elements occur downstream, that is 3' and some even within the genes themselves. Different combinations of transcription factors exert different regulatory effects on transcriptional initiation. 4. Control at mRNA splicing, alternate splicing. Most eukaryotic pre-mRNA contain multiple introns. RNA splicing is one of the RNA processing pathways leading to introns removal and exon splicing of a pre-mRNA. In some cases, introns removal and exons splicing can be done in different ways, leading to the formation of different mRNAs from an mRNA precursor, which is known as alternative splicing. Use of alternative splice sites in the same pre-mRNA allows the synthesis of different proteins from the same gene or can function as an on-off switch to make or not make a functional protein. Alternative splicing occurs either in tissue-specific or developmental fashion. A. Tissue-specific. A single gene can give rise to 2 structurally and functionally different proteins depending on the cell type. For example, differential splicing of the same mRNA gives rise to calcitonin peptide in the thyroid cells, whereas in brain it gives rise to calcitonin related peptide CGRP peptide. B. Differentiation specific. A single gene can give rise to more than one functionally distinct protein within the same cell. In some cases, the alternative splice site choice is regulated by the differentiation state of the cell. For example, B lymphocytes differentiate from immature to mature cells as a result of exposure to antigen, and they change the pattern of splice choice. Immature B cells splice to generate an IgM antibody that encodes a hydrophobic C terminus that anchors it into the membrane of the cell. But when antigen is encountered, B lymphocyte differentiates and new mRNA are spliced in such a way that the protein lacks the C terminus, and instead of being anchored in the outer cell membrane, it passes through and is secreted into the bloodstream to fight off infection. 5. Control at mRNA stability. Once mRNAs are produced, they get exported from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. In cytoplasm, they are translated until degradation. Long-lived mRNA gives rise to more polypeptides than short-lived mRNAs. Therefore, mRNA lifetime can also be targeted as an important point for regulation of gene expression. The longevity of mRNA is influenced by some factors such as the poly-A tail length enhances the mRNA lifetime. For example, histone mRNA lack poly-A tail and have very short lifetime. The sequence of the 3' UTR preceding the poly A tail also affects mRNA stability. Some short-lived mRNAs have many repeated sequences AUUUA in this region. The concentration of some metabolites such as hormones can also influence mRNA's longevity. The decapping process accelerates mRNA degradation. 6. Control at initiation of translation. Control mechanism at initiation of translation either prevents the synthesis of protein or controls the amount of protein produced from a given mRNA. An example of translational control is proteins involved in iron metabolism. Ferritin has a function in iron storage, whereas transferrin receptor is responsible of iron import into the cell. When cystosolic contraction of iron increases, it causes increased synthesis of ferritin in order to bind the extra iron, whereas the synthesis of transferrin receptor decreases in order to import less iron across the plasma membrane. Both translational processes are regulated by one regulatory protein called aconitase, which can bind iron. Aconitase can recognize and bind to a stem loop structure at the 5' UTR of ferritin mRNA. This binding blocks translational initiation of ferritin mRNA. Aconitase can also bind to a similar stem loop structure located at the 3' UTR of transferrin receptor mRNA. This binding enhances mRNA stability. Aconitase dissociates from the mRNA when it binds iron. Therefore, when iron concentration increases, translation of ferritin mRNA is initiated, whereas transferrin receptor mRNAs are rapidly degraded. 7. Post-translational control. Post-translational control of gene expression can be defined as a regulation process in which protein structure is modified and as a result protein function is modified. These modifications involve chemical modification of amino acids or alteration of the order of amino acids in the polypeptide backbone. The most common chemical modification of amino acids include phosphorylation, glycosylation and ubiquitation. Phosphorylation is the addition of phosphate to an amino acid side chain, which results in altered protein function. Glycosylation is a process of addition of one or more sugars to amino acid chain, which causes change in protein solubility, folding characteristics or targeting to a particular cell region. Ubiquitation is the first step in protein degradation process, where the protein which has to be degraded by proteasome is bound by ubiquitins. 8. RNA editing. RNA editing is a process in which the RNA sequence is modified. There are two RNA editing mechanisms, which includes A. Site-specific deamination. In site-specific deamination, a cytosine residue within the RNA is changed into uridine by deamination. For example, deamination of adenosine to produce inosine. Since inosine can base pair with cytosine, this induces point mutation which alter the protein sequence. B. Guide RNA directed insertion of uridine. In this mechanism, uridines are inserted into the transcripts as found in the mitochondrial mRNA of trypanosomes. These insertions completely shift the reading frame and give rise to totally different proteins. 9. Regulation of gene expression by RNAs. The regulation of some gene expressions are done at RNA level rather than at protein level. RNA interference, RNAi. RNA interference is also called post-transcriptional gene silencing, PTGS. It is a biological process in which RNA molecule inhibit gene expression, typically by causing the destruction of specific mRNA molecules. Two types of small RNA molecules are central to RNA interference, which are microRNA, that is miRNA, and small interfering RNA, siRNA. RNAs are the direct products of genes, and these small RNAs can bind to other specific mRNA molecules and thereby increasing or decreasing their activity. RNA interference has an important role in defending cells against parasitic nucleotide sequences, viruses, and transposons. It also plays a role in directing development as well as gene expression in general. The RNAi pathway is found in many eukaryotes including animals and is initiated by the enzyme dicer, which cleaves along double-stranded RNA molecules into short double-stranded fragments of approximately 20 nucleotides that are called siRNAs. Each siRNA is unwound into two single-stranded ssRNAs, namely the passenger strand and the guide strand. The passenger strand is degraded and the guide strand is incorporated into the RNA-induced silencing complex RISC to the expression by three ways. 1. Destroy mRNAs having complementary sequence with the siRNA. 2. Inhibit the translation of the complementary mRNAs. 3. Induce chromatin modification within the promoter of these homologous genes, leading to their silencing. 10. Regulation by miRNA. MicroRNAs, miRNAs, are genomically encoded non-coding RNAs that help regulate gene expression, particularly during development. Mature miRNAs are structurally similar to siRNAs produced from exogenous dsRNA, but before reaching maturity, miRNAs must first undergo extensive post-transcriptional modification. miRNA is a class of regulatory RNAs. They are about 20 to 22 nucleotides long and are produced from the digestion of larger transcripts by dicer. There are hundreds of genes encoding miRNA in eukaryotes, and most of them are involved in developmental regulation. 11. Hormonal regulation by other factors. Hormones like steroids could also control hormone-regulated genes in eukaryotic organisms. Conclusion. In this episode, we understood the various mechanisms for control of gene expression in prokaryotes as well as eukaryotes. The aim of regulation is to control the gene expression to only when they are needed. For example, in prokaryotes, the catabolic machinery needed to metabolize lactose only needs to be available when lactose is present. We also saw that regulation of gene expression in eukaryotes is crucial for an essential multicellular organism to develop harmoniously according to a predetermined genetic program. The eukaryotic cell structure provides possible control for gene expression at many levels such as chromatin structure, transcription initiation at RNA level and post-translation level as proposed by Britton and Davidson, expressed as gene battery model in eukaryotes gene regulation. It is similar to the one proposed by Jacob and Monod, but it is more complex in higher organisms. Thank you.